Caitlin Clark's new Kobe PE shoe sold out in less than a minute. And I saw so many tweets about this, so many people who were so sad that they missed out on this shoe. I saw that there was this one Dick's store and people were lined up around the corner, like camping out, trying to get the shoe.
Imagine waking up excited to get the new Caitlin Clark Kobe shoes. You put an alarm, you get on the site with minutes to spare, but then you inhale once, thumb ready to purchase, and error. Refresh. Sold out. 30 seconds. 13,000 pairs of Caitlin Clark's navy and crimson Kobe 5 Protro PE vaporized faster than you can say, just do it.
Nike finally delivers Caitlin Clark PE. Is this the first Caitlin Clark exclusive Nike commercial since she's entered the
Cailtin, and was thought to be a colorway made just for her up until just a couple days ago, where Nike's official images of the shoes got leaked and the announcement was made saying that everyone will now have a chance to wear them.
Servers wheezed, the website crashed, and sneakerheads went without getting a pair. By the time you realize that you didn't get the shoe, GOAT.com is already pushing pairs for $600.
Nike released the shoe this morning for $190. That was the going rate for the signature sneaker. Now, I'm here to tell you, as you guys can see right here on Google, just type in Caitlin Clark Kobe 5. StockX, currently right now, they're going for $345. On GOAT, they're going for $386. And Flight Club, you're looking at $375. Must mind you, these sneakers was just released a few hours ago. These sneakers were retail for $190. This is the Caitlin Clark defense.
Nike didn't merely drop a shoe, they detonated a cultural flash bang that exposed just how catastrophically they'd misread their own market. 2 years of corporate storytelling around Aja Wilson went up in smoke the moment Clark's limited edition colorway hit the grid. Welcome to the $70 billion sneaker giant's most humiliating facepalm, and the day a 23-year-old from West Des Moines seized the crown they'd been polishing for somebody else. But hold that thought, because this fiasco was years in the making, and the rabbit hole only twists deeper.
Well, I don't think I'd be in the wrong to say Caitlin Clark's Kobe is the sneaker of the week, and everyone's focus is mostly on this one. If you really wanted that shoe, I hope you put your footwork in, because there's supposedly only 13,000 pairs of sneakers out tomorrow. Combine that with a really high resale value, I expect this shoe to be a relatively difficult comp. But my hope seriously is that with Caitlin Clark's sneaker coming out, that this sets a precedent and we might see other exclusive player edition Kobe's drop for the public.
As soon as the shoes went on sale, you can sense a sonic boom of mouse clicks rattling from coast to coast. Inside Nike's data center, they see pairs selling out like crazy. By 30 seconds to a minute in the site surrenders, coughing up an all caps sold out, while Clark's name trends #1 worldwide ahead of other current events.
These things is some fire. I'm telling you, where there's smoke, there is fire, and these things is hitting so hard. And who got a bot? Who a shoe plug? Because I need 2 pairs. I need one for the sneaker wall, and I need one for my feet, because these things is hitting right here. No, I don't want to pay $600 on GOAT.
Online screenshots pile up. One user copped 9 pairs with a custom bot. Another claims Nike understocked on purpose to juice the hype. CNBC cuts in with a breaking lower third reporting resale already past 550. In a single minute, the sportswear titan accidentally staged the loudest referendum on star power the women's game has ever seen. Yet that 60-second mania was only the opening salvo. The real fault line had been widening for 24 long months. But before we get into that juicy mess, let's take a look at the Caitlin Clark Nike commercial. screen fades from black to a corridor. Clark's sneakers squeak once, echoing like a starter pistol. A single spotlight tracks her down the tunnel. Suddenly the soundtrack dies, replaced by her heartbeat. Close up, her pupils slit into emerald reptile eyes, a split-second homage to Bryant's Black Mamba alter ego.
I just felt like across the board, this commercial was a 10 for 10, and a lot of people have been getting on Nike because they don't feel like they have been promoting Cailtin as much as they should. But I will say we have to give credit where credit is due. I feel like in the past month or so, they had been tweeting about Cailtin more, and then obviously with this shoe release, they made this super sick commercial to promote it. And of course, just today, Caitlin Clark's new Kobe PE shoe sold out in less than a minute. And I saw so many tweets about this, so many people who were so sad that they missed out on this shoe. I saw that there was this one Dick's store and people were lined up around the corner, like camping out, trying to get the shoe.
Roll back to spring 2023. Nike's basketball division circles Aja Wilson's name in bold Sharpie on every strategy deck. 2 WNBA MVPs, Olympic gold, charisma for days. She's the safe bet. Focus groups nod approvingly at her polished interviews and philanthropic resume. The swoosh bankrolls a scripted journey. Custom logo, 5-episode mini doc directed by Malia Obama. Billboards from Vegas to Midtown, and a hush-hush promise of a signature line that'll redefine women's footwear.
And all this was done while the shoes being developed, while the collections being done. To demonize Caitlin Clark and try to label her as a privileged white girl that's getting all the privileges, even though she earned everything she got. This ain't about color. This is about good and bad. And I find this a little evil. I find this evil. This is beyond bad, because you had the ability to speak up and say, hey, everybody, relax. Don't get on Caitlin Clark. She got a shoe deal. That's cool. I got one too. Mine's taking a little bit, but it's going to come out. Just be patient. She could have came out and said that, but she didn't.
Meanwhile, 800 miles away, Caitlin Clark is torching collegiate box scores like they're written in eucalyptus. A 38-point triple-double here. A logo 3 so deep it needs its own zip code there. Kids copy her one-footed step back in driveway hoops. And Sports Illustrated drops a cover story calling her Steph with a side of clay. Inside Beaverton, analysts wave engagement charts that glow radioactive green. Still, the committee stalls. She hasn't played a WNBA minute. Let's see how she handles pro defenses. By the time Clark declares and signs an 8-year, $28 million extension, Nike's risk-averse machine has already sunk 2 fiscal years of promo cash into Wilson's project, and the clock is ticking louder than any shot clock. But calendars don't lie, and July 1st would expose just how costly that hesitation really was.
So it's finally here. Caitlin Clark sneakers from Nike is finally dropping. She was signed to them last year, and the sneakers is a year late in my opinion, but nonetheless I'm excited because these sneakers is finally coming out. But what does annoy me a little bit is that this is a collaboration with Kobe. Now Kobe, respect to Kobe, legend, rest in peace, great basketball player, but in my opinion Caitlin Clark is a big enough star and she's creating her own legacy. So I feel like, at least for her first sneaker, it shouldn't be a collaboration with any other player, dead or alive, in my opinion. I feel like Caitlin should have, for her first shoe, had her own original design just for her.
Context matters, and Clark's economic footprint looks less like a ripple and more like a Midwestern meteor strike. First, $82.5 million, the conservative estimate economists pinned on the consumer spending jolt her senior season injected into Iowa's economy. Second, $1.9 million, viewers tuning into a random Wednesday night Fever game simply because the rookie was playing. Finally, third, 47% average bump in ticket sales when the Fever visit on the road. Gatorade erected a 70-foot mural in Times Square within 10 days of her draft. State Farm films a logo range spot where Chris Paul plays second fiddle in his own commercial. Wilson Sporting Goods sells out of Clark-branded Infinity Grip basketballs before the WNBA preseason ends, while local Des Moines restaurants rename their cheese curds Logo Bites and still can't meet demand. And then there's the recent tsunami. Type Caitlin Clark shoe the week of June 24th, and you'll see a spike. Add Kobe 5 5 Protro, double spike. On the other hand, Aja Wilson sneaker, flatline that would make any Nike representative nervous. When money talks, comfort zones vanish, and Nike's balance sheet blues were about to turn true blue panic. But first, let's examine the shoe battlefield where Wilson's custom kicks met a decidedly custom problem.
To me, I find it's very deplorable that you allow Caitlin Clark to get crapped on that whole entire time and even speak up. And on top of that, Nike's a bunch of a-holes too, because they didn't speak up and defend Caitlin Clark or speak up and say, hey, we got Aja's shoe coming. We got Aja's shoe coming. Just gotta be patient. Caitlin Clark's gonna get hers too. I don't understand the tactics here. All you're causing controversy that didn't have to be there. You're calling division where it didn't have to be there. You're calling racial, issues where it didn't have to be there.
May 6th, 2025. In Vegas, Wilson unveils the A1 Pink Ayora. Influencers unbox pre-release pairs. ESPN pushes a primetime feature, and the first drop sells out in 5 minutes. A respectable debut by any metric. Nike executives exhale. Investors applaud. Then reality moves the goalposts. The follow-up Leo Lights colorway hits in early June and lingers. Full-size runs remain available well into July. Digital banners discount them 20% for Father's Day, irony noted, and finishline.com quietly lists half a dozen pairs under back-to-school deals by month's end. The hype machine sputters, hamstrung by the fact that Wilson's on-court narrative simply can't outshine the off-court tidal wave generated by her rookie rival. Yet resale margins and Twitter quips were only half the storm. Because Clark's shoe wasn't merely a product, it was the match tossed onto a decade of dry marketing tinder. Nike's tech stack isn't your neighbor's Etsy shop, it's the best of the best. Or so we thought. When Clark's PE hit, the site wheezed like a 99 desktop on Windows ME. Payment loops froze, captive portals misfired, and an entire legion of would-be customers got punted to an unhandled error. Please try again later. 10 minutes later, Bloomberg terminal screens across Manhattan flashed a 4% uptick in NKE. Analysts labeled it the Clark bump, but the irony tasted bittersweet. The same frenzy lifting the stock also underscored how far the brand had drifted from its killer instinct heyday, back when Jordan Chicago's sold out, sure. Yet Nike still built enough infrastructure to weather the stampede, but corporate course corrections are only as good as the culture that follows, and that culture war was flaming hot in the streets.
You finally put her in a Super Bowl campaign with 9 other women, and all respect to them, but none of them are moving the needle quite like she is. Your tagline in that was "You can't win, so win." One of the best explanations I can come up with is that you are wringing your hands and afraid to enter into this politically divisive conversation that has been co-opted by the media and pundits who are race baiting and doing all kinds of ridiculous things around women's basketball. You can't win, so win. You have the unicorn, the chosen one, the one who everyone wants to hear from, and you were just sitting around. Gatorade, State Farm, Game Bridge, Wilson Basketball have all figured out how to have a point of view with Caitlin Clark. Please, for the love of God, figure something.
By sundown, think piece headlines came out the woodworks. Nike finally crowns the golden girl. Why it took so long? Aja Wilson left in the cold as white media darling cashes in. Is Clark the WNBA's MJ or just capitalism's new bait? Social media devolved into factions. Hashtag We Stand With Aja trended for 12 hours, accusing Nike of backpedaling on diversity. Clark defenders fired back with hashtag Market Don't Lie memes, side-by-side photos of sold-out Kobe's versus dusty A1s. Clark herself, she posted a 3-word Instagram caption, grateful, and went to bed. The post notched 4.2 million likes before breakfast. But for Nike executives, likes are vanity. Revenue is sanity. So they finally did what shareholders were begging for. They pivoted hard. Nike's global marketing was instructing team leads to reallocate 32% of fiscal year 26 women's basketball budget toward Caitlin Clark deliverables. Translation, open the floodgates. They shot a new commercial in record time. 2 camera crews, 1 Los Angeles warehouse, 12 hours of green screen wizardry. Clark jogs through a kaleidoscope corridor. Her left eye morphs into the Kobe sheath logo. The frame shatters into black mamba scales, and she drains a logo 3 into a hoop forged from molten Cailtin swooshes. 30-second spot, airtime bought in the NBA Finals. 30 million impressions in 2 days. And the numbers validated every word. Send KRS installs jumped 11% a week over week. Nike's women's basketball Instagram gained 600,000 new followers, quadruple its previous monthly record. The phrase Caitlin Clark Nike signature when spiked 300% on Google. But for all the corporate fireworks, the story's beating heart remained the fans and the seismic shift they're steering.
I heard that Nike stocked about 14,000 of these, and that is an unconfirmed report, but they sold out in less than a minute. If that's any indication of what a Caitlin Clark signature shoe will do, I think Nike better continue to get on it and get ready to launch this brand.
Walk the halls of any WNBA arena when the Fever are in town. You'll see 8-year-old girls clutching Sharpies and foam fingers. Yes, but also 40-year-old dads who haven't watched a women's game since the '96 Olympics. You'll see teen boys getting hyped to witness Clark's logo 3s, and college dudes in Fever jerseys sprinting back from concession stands so they don't miss her next heat check. Clark collapsed silos the way Jordan did in '85 and Serena did in 2002. Basketball heads, sneaker fiends, casual SportsCenter grazers, mainstream pop culture watchers, all converging on one gravitational point. Nike's internal segmentation chart suddenly looked prehistoric. The same size 13 Kobe that sells out in Iowa also disappears in Seoul and Sydney, obliterating the old myth that women's hoops can't drive global product mania. And Wilson, she's still a superstar, still collecting double-doubles and MVP chants. But her lane is narrower now, like cable TV fighting Netflix. She's the Sunshine and Rainbows spokesperson. Clark is lightning in a Gatorade bottle. Brands rarely anoint two simultaneous faces, and the public has already cast its ballot with Visa cards and crashed servers. Which brings us sprinting toward the final buzzer, the lesson Nike learned at near biblical cost. In 60 seconds, a limited edition sneaker drop cracked Nike's facade of omniscience, sent analysts rewriting revenue forecasts, and ignited the loudest culture convo women's basketball has ever known. But pull back the curtain and you see something purer, a rookie who doesn't chase virality but creates it simply by doing what she's done since grade school: hoop with reckless joy and laser accuracy. Nike can pump out commercials, shift budgets, and polish narratives, yet none of it glues eyeballs like Clark lighting up a box score. That's the marketing cheat code they nearly fumbled. And that's why this is bigger than a shoe. It's a reset button on how global brands value women athletes. So here's the challenge I'm tossing to you, the viewer. Does Nike scramble merit forgiveness? Or should fans keep the swoosh on probation until Clark's first true signature line drops? Clark is a walking culture icon that cuts across ages, regions, and fan bases. We all knew that the sky is the limit for her, so what did Nike take this long? Comment down below, baby goat, if you agree that Caitlin Clark is a goat in the making.